Hey, welcome back. This is Dave DeBow, and today we're going to discover the blueprint to real estate capital, something I call the money partner formula. So if you're a real estate investor and you want to start raising capital using other people's money, bringing on joint venture partners, you need a really good plan of action, preferably something proven, something that's worked for not just one or two other people, but hundreds, if not thousands of other people. And that's what we're going to be talking about here today, what I call the money partner formula. And it's got three main phases. We'll go over each one of those phases: the foundation, the launch, the leverage phases, as well as the different steps that are involved in each one of those to give you a big picture overview of how this works and how it can work for you to raise 6 figures in a matter of weeks and even 7 figures in a matter of months. Stay tuned. Now, a lot of people, when they're first getting started with raising capital for real estate deals, they just kind of jump in and flounder about. How do I know this? Because that's exactly what I did back in the day. And here's the challenge with that. Maybe it'll work, probably it won't, and you'll just go through a lot of pain and rejection and unnecessary suffering by trying to figure this all out on your own. So it's much better to learn from other people, learn from their mistakes, learn what's worked with them, and follow a proven path. That's what we're going to be talking about here today with the money partner formula. So myself, way back in the day when I first started raising capital, I just kind of heard what the gurus out there were saying. Hey, you know what? If you've got a good deal, the money will find you. So I self-financed my first couple of properties and then wham, hit the wall, ran out of cash, ran out of credit. And of course, that's when the perfect deal landed in my lap. So I tried what I'd heard the gurus saying that you should do, because I knew that the money wasn't just going to magically find me. So I tried picking up the phone and dialing for dollars and got rejected a lot and kind of turned off a lot of people that way. I tried networking and schmoozing. I went to the local BNI, my local Chamber of Commerce, all of these things, which are a good idea, but I was desperate for the cash. I only had 2 weeks to come up with the money for the down payment for this property. Now, it wasn't a big deal. It was only like $85,000 that I needed to raise, but I was under the gun. I had a very, very definite time frame to do this in. So even though networking and getting out there and meeting people is a good idea, the way I was doing it was all wrong because I was desperate, and that desperation just kind of oozed out of me. And then I got really close to the end and I thought, hey, why don't I just email everybody I know with this opportunity? It's such a great deal, it's going to sell itself. So I did that and I spammed everybody I knew with my deal, and that turned into 0 investors. In fact, all I did was turn off a lot of really good investor prospects. Bottom line, when the smoke cleared, I lost the deal. Massive egg on my face because I live in a fairly small city. So I ticked off the realtor, the seller, mortgage broker, the tenant buyer that I had lined up for the property, everybody. And that's when I sat back and I said, hey, this sucks, right? So this whole, I got to have a plan. So luckily I had a background in marketing. I decided to apply that to raising capital, and I came up with this process called the money partner formula. And we're going to jump into that right now. All right, here we are. This beauty is a big infograph of my money partner formula. So as you can see, we've got 3 phases. We've got the foundation phase, leverage phase, and then the leverage phase. So in the foundation phase, what we're looking to do is, number 1, really figure out, dial in a target group of your ideal prospective investors. Second part of this phase is having a really good online marketing hub that you can use to communicate with these people. I suggest an investor-focused website. And the third part of the foundation is to make sure that you've got a really good investor pitch deck ready to go, so when people do put up their hand, you can show them what you're doing and it makes a lot of sense. So that is the foundation phase of this whole process. Next, we've got our launch phase. So once we got the foundation in place, now it's time to press go and really hit the ground running. Now, what I made the big mistake of in the early days was just rushing in and saying, hey, I've got this great deal. Who wants to invest with me? And I see a lot of people doing this these days, especially on social media. Here's a better idea. The first part of the launch phase is what we call a warm-up campaign. And this is where you just reach out to people, reconnect with them on a personal level first, and set the stage for talking with them more about real estate investing. And we'll go over each one of these phases in these steps in more detail in future videos, so stay tuned for those. So let's warm them up first, and then after that, The ninja strategy, this is the number one way that we help our clients get their first 10, 15, 20 investor meetings under their belt and raise capital without any pressure on them and without any pressure on the other person as well. And then at the same time that we're doing this, this is when we kick things into gear with the marketing, the capital marketing. So getting the word out about what you're up to, getting people to put up their hands. So creating curiosity with what I call edutaining communication with a clear call to action. So these first two phases typically take somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks to kind of get everything set up, get everything rolling. And then after that, you're ready to hit into the leverage phase. And the first part of the leverage phase is getting the word out and going from one-on-one meetings to one-to-many meetings with webinars. And these days, webinars are super effective and super easy to do. Second part of this is keeping your marketing going with continuity. It's because it's very, very easy to shake the tree and get the low-hanging capital fruit, but the majority of the fruit takes a little bit longer to ripen, right? Just because we want people to invest with us right now doesn't mean they're ready, willing, or able to invest right at this moment. So we want to make sure that we're in front of them when they are ready to invest. And then last but not least, we want to start really kind of boosting up and bolstering our credibility in the eyes of our prospective investors. Because for people to invest with us, they need to know us, like us, and trust us with their money. So this is really all about creating that trust factor. So there you have it in a nutshell. This is the money partner formula. Now I figured this out and I used this myself to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for the rent-to-own deals that I was doing at the time. And then I scaled up into multifamily properties, raised millions of dollars with this process. But more importantly, I've helped other people, what I call everyday people investing in real estate or mom and pop real estate investors, cumulatively raise over $300 million in counting following this same process. So if you like the idea of all of this, I've got a special resource for you. It's my book. Coincidentally, it's called The Money Partner Formula, and this goes over the entire process. You can get it in exchange for your name and your email address. Just scroll down to the bottom or go to investorattractionbook.com today, grab your copy, and you can go through all 3 of these phases plus each of those individual steps yourself. Check it out today.